I just witnessed, quite possibly, the most entitled interaction of my life. I, 40F, was at my local convenience store, talking to the owner's daughter. She needed help with homework and was asking everyone if they could help her understand it. Shakespeare isn't for everyone, but is something I thoroughly enjoyed at school. I am in there almost daily, so they know me. In walks this woman, probably around my age, and she begins gathering items and dumping them on the counter, completely disregarding other customers who were already at it. This goes on for a few minutes and then she goes to pay. At this point, the clerk is serving someone else and this woman interrupts the transaction and states, "My items are on the counter, so you shouldn't be serving anyone else as I'm clearly waiting to be served." I always believed that, in order to be served in a store, you had to physically be in a line or at the counter. Maybe I'm wrong. The man being served smiles at this woman and says something along the lines of he's buying smokes and needs 30 seconds to complete his transaction and she can just wait. This led to much huffing and puffing from the woman. She then turns to me and says, "Can you believe the audacity of some people?" I can't help but giggle before I reply with, "No, but I do really appreciate irony." She didn't get the joke. By now, the guy has left and the clerk is ringing up her items and putting them into bags. He finishes and tells her the total, which was $30 something. She tells him he will take $25 because that's all she has. He tells her he will willingly take the $25 providing she removes sufficient items to ensure it covers her bill. Introduce tantrum, stage right, "I need everything. You can't deprive me of my needs. Who do you think you are? I'm calling my husband." The clerk doesn't miss a beat and replies with, "Make sure he brings his wallet." Now, the kid and I have completely forgotten about Shakespeare and are enjoying the theater production unfolding in front of us. Out comes her phone and she's scrolling furiously, whilst repeating, "Just wait until he gets here." Again, the clerk doesn't miss a beat and says, "I have no other choice but to wait. My shift doesn't end for another 3 hours." She literally stamps her feet whilst shouting, "But it's only $10. I'm almost at the point of having to put my fist in my mouth to stifle my laugh. This woman calls her husband and puts the phone on speaker. He answers and she puts on this really pitiful whiny voice, "Baby, I'm at this store and the clerk is holding me and 2 other females hostage. You need to come and rescue us." This guy must be all too familiar with his wife's antics and says, "You can't really be held hostage and be allowed to use your phone. So either, you didn't have enough money or you're trying to buy alcohol without ID." I didn't stifle the laughter and now this woman has 3 people openly laughing at her. She has to sheepishly admit it was the former. Her husband then says, "If you leave the chips, candy and soda behind, that you don't need, and that we have more than enough of in the house, I'm sure you'll have enough money." She started to protest and her husband uttered, "I've told you about doing this shit. Say one more word and I'm canceling your birthday." She stamped her foot again as she hung up and told the clerk to remove the suggested items and she does have enough to cover the bill.